Hi everybody, today we have the wonderful Christine Hoock in to have a chat with us today. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm great, so far as possible. So
Good.
I have a terrible cold, but
Yeah.
well, that's life.
Good. So can you start by talking to us a little bit about how you started learning the double bass?
Yeah, it's quite traditional start. When I was in school, so the music teacher thought I'm quite musically, or I had a rhythmical talent, and there were some people missing in the bass section of the school orchestra. And so first he asked me when I was 11 years old, but at that time I didn't know what a double bass is, so I said no. And of course my parents like, oh no. And then when it was nice that he asked me, because I just played it with piano, and I started to get more interested when I was listening to an orchestra. The basses are there. Interesting. So yeah, it was more interesting for me, and I liked the orchestra and the function that the bass group has. So this bass sound, the rhythmical power, and the dark sound. So I wasn't interested at all in violin section or
feel
flute player. Yeah, I could have imagined the percussion.
Yes.
So this interested me too, and then and somehow every year he asked me again, and with 15 or 16 years old, I was ready to say yes. I want to try. So,
And so you learnt throughout your school life and then carried on to conservatoire. Where did you go to study?
I was studying in Frankfurt. So I lived near Frankfurt, and it became really fast. So the time that I decided to start with the bass took some years, but then it was like a decision. Yeah, I really want to know how this works. And I had a good double bass teacher. My first teacher was a very nice guy, and he taught very well. And then somehow. After I played 2 or 3 years double bass, I got in contact with Günther Klaus. He was teaching in Frankfurt, and then I already started to study. So it was quite fast.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it was nice. Yeah.
And when did you get your first professional job, or what would you mark as your professional career?
Yeah, it continued also quite fast. So the thing I was interested while studying was to create something with my classmates. So we started with a Frankfurter Contrabass quartet.
Oh, cool.
4 girls.
Very
so
good.
Somebody made a joke in our class concert for a woman, and we said, okay, you can have it. And we started to do the quartet when we were 20, 21. And so I also organized a bit. And so at this time, you wrote some letters to organizers, and they were interested. And so this was somehow a start in the professional life. Same time I studied. And then when I was 23, also when I just still studying, I thought, okay, I could try to go in orchestra. So I was not like sure. I just wanted to play the bass.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any plan where to go, how to go, why, and so. But I think then one of our quartet members, she got a good orchestra job, and then somehow I can try one audition. And I did one audition, and I won this place. So then I entered in the Radio Symphony Orchestra in Cologne as second solo player. When I was 23. So, and this was interesting. So very fast, the whole way, very, very fast. I had to learn a lot in the orchestra, so it was a wonderful time, and I enjoyed it a lot. With all this plus and minus you have in an orchestra. So I had to learn all this, how to manage all these personalities in the group, and okay. I think also with the dark sound playing, like, everything was very interesting for me. And then I think I finished my studies some years later, because in our university I had to stop the study when I entered the orchestra. So I think I left in the 8th semester, so I really had to. And I think 5 years later I was able to finish it external. And because I liked it, I got another idea, maybe I can continue studying. At that time there were some students starting with Günter Klaus in Frankfurt and then go to Franco Petracchi, to Geneva. It fits really super good together. So I don't know if you know Günter Klaus. He's a very profound player, very safe, very with much weight, very natural, it's great. So for the technique was really the best. And also musically. But Franco Petracchi is coming really from the other side. Of course, he's playing French, but no problem. So I didn't switch to French. But his musical ideas was like extraordinary, and this cantilene playing he was able to was really very interesting. And then after 7 years in the orchestra, I did my second study, virtuosité, in Geneva. So first I did it in the same time, so I was traveling from Köln to Geneva and back and come back. Yeah. And then I took 1 year off the orchestra and
got it done.
Yeah, this was good. And when I finished this, I think directly after I started to teach. First in, it was a smaller, well, not so small, university in Duisburg, in the center of Germany, then in Düsseldorf, besides the orchestra. And somehow I like to do this too.
And how much teaching do you get to do nowadays?
So now I have a full class in Salzburg.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so
it's very impressive. Yeah. And what about your solo playing? How do you balance that with all the stuff you have going on?
About what?
Your solo playing.
Solo playing, yeah. It was always my hobby, somehow. Somehow, most of us double bass player, we have the hobby playing solistic. I mean, I think it's still so that not many or nobody can really live only from solo playing.
It's an orchestral instrument, though.
It's an orchestral instrument, but it's very interesting to play solo on it. And I think the contemporary music gets more and more, or finds us more and more. The bass sound is fantastic. So I was curious enough to continue with the solo playing. I mean, when I was in Cologne in the orchestra, I practiced in the night. Yeah, somehow, I always had some goals. The interesting thing, I always had friends to work together. So it was not just, I have to work, it was always fun. So with the girls in the Frankfurter Contrabass Quartet, we played 12 years and very seriously made recordings and television, everything, so very nice. And then I found a very nice pianist, Barbara Nussbaum, also in Cologne. We get very close friends. And we played together. And so we helped us together. We could play their concert and so on. And we were looking for interesting programs. By the way, at the time when I was traveling from Cologne to Geneva and back, I was doing arrangements from Piazzolla pieces.
Oh, cool.
So it was not so boring, the train.
Yeah.
And she really liked the bass sound. I met a lot of pianists who loved the bass sound. Just last week in Moscow, I met another, and I'm sure we'll play more in the future. So Barbara was very important for me. We played a really long time. And now I have several pianists which really like the bass. And it's a big adventure to to play. So I'm always looking for a great double bass sound. You know, in the orchestra is somehow our masculine way of living. Yeah, so from the basic, the sound, and I really like this. So, but from there you can grow a lot of plants. So when you're going up, and so there are so many colors. I'm not sure if you can really use it all in the orchestra. Yeah, and this is a big adventure, and I still enjoy it.
And I saw that you recently, with the Strad, did some writing about Van Hal and his bass concerto.
Yeah.
So clearly you're doing a lot of research into various pieces at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And just last month, I did another interview on the Strat about how to phrase.
Oh yes, of course, I saw that. Yeah.
It's good to have them, that they ask things like this. I think it's important.
Yeah, particularly for the double bass. You know, phrasing doesn't come most naturally, but gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, that's so cool. And can you talk us through a little bit about all the various orchestras that you've played in?
Yeah, well, my main orchestra always was the Cologne Radio Symphony Orchestra. So I was very young when I started. And we start with the Shostakovich Symphony. I remember, is it the 14th where you have two basses? So it was really jump in this world. And after 1 week rehearsals, first Japan tournée arrives. Yeah? So I played a lot in this orchestra. I was not like starting somewhere and then continuing in the other. So I did, of course, replacements in opera orchestras. So I needed also to learn a bit the opera repertoire. I played it in a salon orchestra besides this. So I had my orchestra. And besides this, I did different things, just some replacements or so. But for me, Cologne as a city, I had to leave.
No.
I liked.
Peaceful city.
So I had not really a reason to look for something else. It really only started when I was interested in, teaching more and more now. All the both not possible, and professorship and orchestra place was not possible, so I had to decide. And then the day came after 14 years in the orchestra that I decided, I want to teach in a university. And then I left Cologne, crying.
Of course.
I mean, Bavaria is wonderful. I live in Munich. Yeah. It's really wonderful.
But it's not Cologne.
Cologne is a hard thing.
I don't want to make you cry on camera or anything thinking about it. No. Can you tell us a little bit about your instruments? Do you have a different one for solo to orchestral? Or?
Yeah, sure. So for the orchestra instrument, I usually play an orchestra instrument the orchestra just offers. And in my orchestra I had an Italian one, was good. And I have at home also 5-string instrument, which I use for chamber music. It's a Czech instrument. So, and that's, for orchestra I would be not fat enough somehow, but for chamber music it's wonderful. It's very good, and good, warm and clear sound, so I like this. And then I have a German instrument, that's the one I was studying with. I don't know from whom. It was good, but a bit too much in the direction solistic sound.
And do you use that for your solo recordings and stuff?
This instrument, no. Now I have Viennese tuning on it, my experiment.
Oh, I see.
Or I use it, you know, I work together with a DJ with electronic music. Then I use also this instrument. So for my instrument I really love is a William Tarr instrument, a 4-string. And it's not really a super solo instrument, but I really became a bit crazy with this super solistic sound of my other bass. It was good. But the low passage, I couldn't really do some colors, and the quality was not good enough. And the William Tarr, I mean, it's really a great instrument, and you can show a lot of colors. And when you're going down, yeah, it's fun. That's my main instrument. Yeah.
And what about your bows? You play German and everything. I don't know much about German bows.
Yeah, so I have German bow grips, so I have several bows. There's one bow which I really like, that's an old Grünke bow. Might be now, I don't know, 60, 70 years old or so, or more. Yeah, it's quite old. He said, I met Grünke, you don't know him. I met him once, and he said, it's one of my first bows. Yeah. So I like this. This I use quite a lot for solo playing. And for, I just, last year, I bought a bow from Hoya. This I use also for solo. Then I have some Fretschner also, and different, a lot. And for chamber music, I use another bow, maybe a Schmid bow, and maybe also this Hoya bow, sometimes my Dölling bow. And for orchestra, I always have this a bit more heavy Dölling bow. Yeah. So the bow is very important, not only the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just really switch things around and have so many combinations.
Yeah. And for the solo playing, you need something like a Ferrari, that it's really movable. And for the orchestra, depends which style you play, you really need
weighty.
Yeah.
Very good, cool. Is there any advice that you would give to young bass players now who are, training to become professionals? What is your general one piece of advice?
Follow your passion. Yeah, I mean, everybody's thinking, what to do, am I safe? I don't know. Of course, you have to realize how your skills are. You really must look in the mirror, and you need a good teacher.
Yeah.
That you know how your skills are. So, and when you have good skills, then just follow your passion, practice, focus, concentrate, and do.
Would be realistic, but
being realistic, there are many ways on earth to live. I mean, also with music, and the music organizing world is a huge possibility to do something for the music and to be still in contact with the music. So you just have to really recognize what's your best skill.
Yeah.
And then
of course,
this.
you organize the Sperger competition and festival.
This
how,
just
how do you
somehow.
Yeah.
This just well, the professor who did this long time ago and founded this, so he asked me for 3 years to do this, and first I thought it was a bit when I started with the double bass. First I said no,
not sure.
No. It's too much, and I want to play.
Yeah.
And my feet are standing on the classic style, so that's very important for me. But I'm somebody who is really open to a lot of things. So I will not play now only Sperger. Yeah. So I like this music, but and we discussed and so, and after 3 years, I thought, okay, I will try this.
You gave in.
Yeah, but I didn't know what this will be. But but I find a very nice team. Also, 2 of my foreign old students are working with this. One is organization leader, and one is doing the magazine, writing all the things. So. And some old friends from the past. So if I have a nice team, it's fun again.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard. So we just.
It keeps you busy.
yeah. But we just had to change the city where we do the competition. So just a few months ago. So and I somehow took the responsibility now. And
do you not like it?
Also financial, I mean.
Yeah,
so this is already kind of another profession. Yeah, and I'm interested to be in contact now with a lot of people who are real organizers and not just hobby,
yes, of course.
like I am. And I think I just meet a lot of very interesting new people, and we will see where we end. So next competition will be in August in northern Germany, and music university, that's new. Before it was in the city, and the city has the responsibility. Now we switch to the rooms of a music university, and we will see. Well, it's fun. It's fun if you can do something, and you can collect some people to come on, work with us, and so that's interesting. But I always must take care that I have enough time to play myself.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because from playing I get some food somehow. And teaching is also very important because of the, it's a kind of very special work. I like it. Yeah. There you give a lot of energy, but it's really sensible to give it to the youth. I mean, that's okay. To give it just in organizing something, we see. We will see. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And for the final question, if you could speak to your 18-year-old self, what would you say to her?
Oh, everything went well.
Okay. Positive.
So I was always standing on my feet. I don't know, maybe it was, I don't know why. It's the parents, it's the surrounding, it's the school maybe. I think in our time, especially now with all this internet, it's nearly normal to do a bit more than you are. To be a bit more self-confident like you are. It's a bit for me a clownesque, how to say. So I think you don't need to have to be 300% self-confident to survive. It's all, the most important is to be honest to yourself. And I think somehow I was always. But sometimes I thought, oh man, I should be more self-confident because I noticed what people, the opinion to other people. I was interested, which doesn't mean that I killed my opinion, but I was always open. Sometimes it's not so easy. It's easier to say, I'm like this and I'm the best and so. And that's not my kind. So I was struggling sometimes with myself to be more bigger or to go in this game. We are big. I'm bigger than you. And I never did. And today I say it was okay. It was good. Yeah. I think for my personality it was good. Even if you sometimes you have doubts or you ask yourself some questions, but at the end you come much more strong from this than just always looking for your idea and your thing, and it's too much work.
Very tiring, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Welcome.